Wade
and Wade
reacts.
This is our review for Ahsoka season 1. We're going to tell you the good, the bad, the nitpicks, and did the show even live up to the hype? So, was there any good in the show?
The show didn't live up to the hype, but the show definitely kept me as a Star Wars fan entertained. We got to see finally Ahsoka in live action. They gave us Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, and they introduced some new characters, Balin and his apprentice. We got a chance to see the Night Sisters and the power of the Night Sisters. And we got to see some really good action scenes, well choreographed and captivating episodes.
Yeah, this show, it was, for the most part, if you are a Star Wars fan, there's stuff in here to like you have lightsabers back. If you was missing that with the Mandalorian, even though the Mandalorian had a dark saber and it had some flashback with Jedi, you had that again. You had lightsaber duels, well choreographed lightsaber duels, I might add. And we haven't seen that since the prequel eras. Now, was this on the level of the prequel Jedi battles? No. You had interesting villains. You had Morgan Elsbeth. She had a plan and wasn't really all that intricate. It was just to get Thrawn back, which he was a good villain when he showed up. You had Balin, you had Shin. They weren't completely dark side users, but they were leaning more to the dark than the light side of the Force. So you had them.
They didn't have the motivation of a traditional Jedi.
Yeah, you had them in there being antagonists to our heroes like Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera, and Ezra Bridger for all you Rebels fans. So if you are a Rebels fan, go ahead and watch this show. It will give you closure because Rebels left off on a cliffhanger. It left off with Ahsoka meeting up with Sabine and going to find Ezra. Yes, they do find Ezra Bridger in this season. So you will thoroughly enjoy that. So as far as the bad, what bad can be talked about that was in this show?
Some of the fight scenes were a little bit laggy. And some of the camera angles that the director chose to shoot the action from were bad choices. You can see the actors trying to get the choreography down in certain shots. And I was thinking to myself, as a professional director, you should have that under control. You should have the cuts so that if there is a lapse in the fight scene or there is a mistake, you cut it so that the viewers won't see it. Or you have the actor do it again. The actors weren't trained well enough for certain parts of these scenes, and the cinematography team didn't shoot the scene so that the mistakes would be covered.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Some of the action scenes, as far as camera angles, weren't good. And a lot of the action scenes left a lot to be desired, especially if you are a prequel Star Wars fan. Are you a fan of the Clone Wars? This series did not live up to the action, but it is good action, but it's not up to par with Star Wars duels.
Nope.
And George Lucas, he had a certain way that he liked to shoot the action scenes. I wish that the directors would go back and take notes and say, how did George Lucas do? Okay, let's try to recreate that. And then as far as some of the story elements, I wasn't really digging. Like, I know they told us that Sabine was training to be a Jedi and how she used the Force close to the end. I would have liked if throughout the season they would have showed us her Force abilities leveling up.
Right.
Maybe when she was trying to get the cup, I think that was episode 3, when she was trying to get the cup and bring it to her hand, maybe show us her working with that cup and letting the cup shake.
Exactly. We didn't see that character progress. Then out of nowhere, she has the Force ability to push Ezra Bridger.
Yeah.
Without progress being shown or without their showing progress being made, that doesn't make sense to the viewer.
Yeah, because I don't remember. See, they didn't get into the Force. I think that's one thing that George Lucas messed up on. He didn't really get to show us a youngling progressing. We seen Anakin as a kid. The next time we see him again, he's almost a grown man. And he is like pretty adept in the Force.
Right.
Next time we see him, he is a grown man. He's a Jedi Knight. We never see anybody working their way up in the Force.
That's true.
That's why we have problems like Sabine, and we have problems like Rey, which Sabine is a better character than Rey.
Oh, definitely.
Because at least she had training. Rey, on screen training at that too.
Yeah.
Rey didn't have any training. She was doing Jedi mind tricks, and then they said she got trained by Leia. I think that was the third film, the Return of Skywalker, whatever that movie was called. I can't remember. But they did show us at least something. So we could say, okay, maybe Sabine could do that. And then Thrawn. I like Matt Mikkelsen playing Thrawn. But I didn't feel like Thrawn was really, doing what he could have did to the villains. He's taking it easy on them.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of plot convenience for the heroes to get one step closer to Thrawn,
right? So
they could take him down. Even though we know they weren't going to take him down, because we know he's going to come back to the main galaxy and he's going to be the heir to the Empire. But I would have wished that they showed more of Thrawn's battle tactics. And as far as it was something else that I had to fit into the bad category, but it slipped my mind. But as far as the nitpicks, what nitpicks did you have with this show?
In the last episode, episode 8, which was a really good episode, great watch. When the clone troopers were resurrected by Night Sister magic,
Stormtroopers.
The stormtroopers, I meant to say. Why come Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka didn't chop them down? Disney is making Star Wars PG in certain aspects. In the Clone Wars, they would have chopped them to pieces.
Yeah.
They would have cut them up. If not cutting limbs off, they would have showed them cutting them down. They didn't show them cutting any of the troopers down.
Yeah, I think they don't want to cut off limbs, because most of the fights in the Clone Wars was against droids. And when we did see somebody's limb, like we seen Count Dooku, he had his head cut off. And we seen Anakin, he got his hand or half of his arm. And then Obi-Wan did cut off both of his arms and both of his legs. So
yeah,
I think that's about as much as we seen with limbs being cut off. Maybe it's some other scenes that I'm missing, but I don't think George Lucas even focused on that a lot. Because I remember Anakin, he killed the Separatists. And then on Revenge of the Sith, I don't think they showed him cutting off any of their limbs. I think he was just stabbing them and slicing them. So I think Disney, they want to keep it PG. They don't want to really, scare any of the little kids. But I agree with you. I think they do need to add a little bit more limb removal.
Yeah, because you have lightsabers.
Yeah.
These are super heated battle sticks. And they have the ability to dismember their opponents. So I think there should have been a little bit more violence in that scene. If not with the lightsaber, they should have shown that they were no match for the Force. They should have just pushed all of them down. Because we can't forget that in this new wave of Star Wars, the Force has gotten more and more powerful. You have Darth Vader pulling down a fighter jet. You have Obi-Wan launching a big stone or boulder at Darth Vader. Darth Vader catches it. Then you have Obi-Wan lifting up a bunch of rocks and throwing them toward Darth Vader. So the Force has increased in power, and they have to be consistent with that.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to say. Speaking of combat, that's what it was. That was my nitpick. I mean, that was my bad, but I put it in the nitpick category. It's the duels. They are not fast enough. They're not. The cinematography is not. It doesn't have to be choppy, but give us some quick cuts to make us think that the action is moving faster than what it is. They are missing Nick Gillard. I think that's his name. I think I'm saying his name right. They're missing him, and they need to bring him back. If they're not going to bring him back, they need to find somebody that's on par. I don't know who choreographed the Luke scene when he came in with the Dark Troopers and he saved Grogu and the rest of them. They need to bring this guy back, or the people that worked on that scene. They need to bring them back, because it's I think the best battles in this season was the second episode 2 was when Ahsoka fought, what's the dude's name? I can't think of the name. He was an Inquisitor, but it turned out he was just smoke, and then the robot.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
And then when she fought Morgan Elsbeth, the last episode. That I think that was the best duel in the whole season.
That was one of the best fight scenes. Matter of fact, like you said, that was the best choreographed fight scene in the whole series.
Yeah.
Then Iman Esfandi did a good job as Ezra Bridger.
He did.
And people don't like, some people didn't like Rosario Dawson being Ahsoka, but she did a great job as well. The only actor I had a problem with in certain scenes was the actress who plays Sabine Wren.
Yeah, a little dry hair in there.
Yeah.
Didn't really bring the energy. So as far as this show, where it ranks for you as far as whack to masterpiece, where does this sit?
It's not whack, but it's certainly not a masterpiece. I'm gonna say it's decent 0.5. It's almost good. It's halfway there, but it didn't quite make it to the good rating yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. This show is decent. It's fits. There's things that you can like, and there's things that you dislike. It's like all Star Wars. None of the Star Wars movies are perfect. It's not sequels territory bad, and it's not prequels territory boring. So it's like right in the middle. There's things to love. There's things not to love. So I'm gonna go with a decent. So that's been our review for Ahsoka season 1. Hopefully there's a season 2. And if you like season 1, leave us a comment. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And we out of here.
Peace.